Edward Leos. Welcome to Travel Talk, filmed at the Peachtree Rose Marketing Studios and hosted by the Hotel Guide publisher, Edward Leos.
Good afternoon, everybody. Edward Leos here, publisher of the Hotel Guide and your host of Travel Talk. I am really excited about today's guest and connecting with her with what she's doing in travel and hospitality, marketing, branding, everything. Amy, how are you doing today?
Hi, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Doing fantastic. Why don't you let all the guests know where you are in the world as well?
Oh, I'm coming to you live from London.
London, perfect. Well, we're from Texas to London. I love the international connection we are having today. But I'm excited about today's episode. We've chatted offline, obviously, before, and I love your story, love your background. And I thought it was a unique opportunity for our guests and listeners to really understand, hey, a little bit more about what you do. So want to take a few minutes and let people know about who you are and kind of how you got to where you are right now with your company.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So hello, everyone. I'm Amy Morgan and I am a hospitality marketing consultant. And as part of that, I specialize in guest experience and user journey mapping. But my work predominantly focuses on how brands engage guests throughout the buyer journey and beyond. So looking at their first interaction online to their in-person experience and ultimately how that impacts oh my god, sorry, I'm slurring my words today.
Okay.
How that impacts revenue. My background is actually quite diverse. I started working in marketing back in 2012, working across industries like food and beverage, automotive, travel and tourism, basically covering everything from things to do, relocation guides, OTA descriptions and magazine features. But before all of that, I was actually in early years education. And that kind of pivotal shift for me happened when I moved to Bangkok back in 2013. I was only living there for a year, but it completely transformed my life, my career, and sparked my passion for storytelling, branding, and everything that I'm doing today.
So tell me a little bit about that impact and how it changed your life. I think guests would find that rather revealing and exciting in terms of what happened there to put you where you are today.
Yeah, so it was kind of a last minute contract, the reason that I went over there. And I look at it as a pivotal moment in my life because there's before Thailand and after for me. And that's because before Thailand, I was very insecure. I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. And Thailand gave me this opportunity, not to reinvent myself, but to be who I was in that moment of time. So there wasn't a preconceived notion of who I was as a kid or who I was as a teenager growing up. I was just that, I think I was 21 at the time, just that fresh-faced 21-year-old over there learning about the world and trying new things. And I hadn't done anything like that before. I hadn't been abroad much. I wasn't well traveled. And then after that, I've just become this travel obsessive who's dedicated to seeing as much of a world and trying as many foods across it as I can.
You know, it's pivotal because just learning how one little thing can change someone's life and change it to a whole different direction, especially if you're open to it. I love the story, and I knew the story before I asked that question. So it's really cool how you've taken that experience and transformed it into a business. I love what you're doing with your brand, Amy Morgan and Company. Can't forget that name. But I think it's great with what you're doing. What are some of the fun things, exciting things that you do in your role that you just love so much?
Oh, I'm a natural born problem solver. So for me, it's just listening to owners, operators, managers, whoever I'm working with, and just really hearing what their pain points are. Because I don't know if you've come across this, but in marketing, a lot of the time you'll think that one thing is the problem, but actually it's a symptom of something completely different. Yeah. So for me, the best part of a role is kind of getting stuck in, really hearing what those pain points are and coming up with a collaborative approach for fixing that moving forward.
Yeah, I know. I think that's one of the biggest things is a lot of things for marketers and people who are problem solvers like the two of us. It really is something else. And I think the fact that you're hitting so many different points in your business in terms of how you help a client in the hospitality industry grow, I think is actually commendable because a lot of people just look at one thing and they're like, okay, let's go advertise and let's go from there. And then they don't think about everything else that goes with it. The guest experience, talk a little bit about how the guest experience is so important and pivotal to not only a hotel, but to a destination, to anybody in the hospitality industry.
Yeah, okay, of course. So I guess I'll start with how I got into guest experience as a specialism in marketing. Because the thing with marketing is it is very broad. And for me, that came about with my love of experiences and making things better. So throughout my career, I just kept noting this huge disconnect between what was happening. I would have these incredible experiences, whether it was a food tour, a hotel stay, or going to a restaurant, but their marketing didn't do it justice. It would feel really, I guess the only way to describe it is it would feel very corporate, like, hello, here is a dish, or hello, this is a room. But it didn't have any story or any excitement to go with it. And in person, it was completely different. You would have this incredible experience. Like a food tour is one of the pivotal moments that I did in Thailand, where it was actually one of my first social media jobs, but the experience itself was incredible. They were so well connected to the local community. They were so knowledgeable on the different foods and the people they were working with. And yeah, so that sparks the love affair. And I think one of the biggest problems is that online messaging is completely misaligned with what people are experiencing in person. And I know that if I'm noticing it, then there are other people out there that are noticing it too. So upon further research, I found that's where brands were often losing the most customers. And of course, you have things like surveys, NPS scores, and mystery shopping. But for me, those only tell a snippet of time of what went wrong. And you're finding out about it after the fact. And at that point, the guest has already felt the impact, like they've had that negative experience, and it's kind of impacted the perception that they have of you, of your business, of your experience, whatever it is that you're selling. So last year in July 2024, I launched my business to help fix that. So now I help brands by auditing, testing, refining their experience, and basically finding all of those little pain points before guests do. Because for me, I find that when you're in a product-based industry, companies rigorously test it, like before, during, and very much after they've launched. But in service-based businesses, it's not the norm. So I just want to be part of the solution for taking it from being a reactive into a proactive.
Right. Yeah, and I love what you said that about the product-based versus, the people-based, people-centric stuff, what we're doing here in the hospitality industry. It's really interesting how you can take that and do that in the hospitality industry. How has it been received so far with your clients when you go through that process and you're talking about, hey, enhancing the guest experience, and these are some of the pain points. How has it been received so far, and are they open to making those changes?
Oh, it's actually hit and miss. So I don't know if this is just because I'm new. And when you do, like copywriting or SEO, you're doing a very niche thing in marketing, and it's very easy to communicate because there's a lot of awareness about what that thing is. Yeah. But when you're talking about guest experience, it's not just one thing. Some companies have guest experience teams. Some people have the entire team responsible for it. So trying to explain what I do has sometimes been met with resistance, sometimes met with curiosity. But so far, I'd say it's 50-50. The people I'm having most success with are actually like owner operators. And I think that's just because there's less barriers to the decision making. They know their business inside and out. There's like in a large corporation, you have a lot of different departments. So to find the information that is impacting your customer journey, you have to have conversations with a lot of different people, heads of department. But for owner operators, it's a much quicker process. So I think that's part of the reason. But one of the things that I'm passionate about is speaking about this until I'm blue in the face, because there are so many opportunities there. And I think part of it is just expanding that understanding. Because like I say, people know about surveys and mystery shopping, but it's just switching when they're doing these things.
No, definitely. And I love your approach, and I love your authenticity in the 50-50 side of things, because I mean, everything's not perfect. And even when you have a client that's looking for those changes, sometimes you still got to be open to those changes that you suggest. I'm a business coach as well. So sometimes I tell, people that I'm coaching, these are the pain points. They don't really want to hear it, or want to move on to the changes from it. So, but the fact that we're opening those doors and opening those eyes, you hope that at some point they do see those. So kudos to you for doing that. Let's switch a little bit from the professional side to the personal side, because I always love asking my guests about travel.
My favorite topic.
What are some of your favorite travel destinations, number one? And number two, what are some of your bucket list places that you want to go to in the future?
Oh, okay. Thailand first and foremost, not just because it's where I found myself, but the food, the energy, the people, that contradiction between chaos and calm. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah.
Rome, I have such a soft spot for Rome. I go there and I just feel like my soul is set on fire. It's just walking around with your head in the clouds and full of carbs. anywhere I can ski. I wish I would say I'd love France or I love Austria, but actually just anywhere with a mountain covered in snow makes me happy. And most recently, actually, New York. I went there with my partner, and there's something about the energy there that I feel completely drawn to. I've never been before, but it felt so familiar, like I was going home. So definitely there. But yeah, and then bucket list, the complete flip side from my city lover is Bora Bora. I have been obsessed with Bora Bora since I think it was 2002. There's a movie called Triple X with Vin Diesel. And right at the end of it, he says Bora Bora. And back then, like I wasn't very old. I think I was like 10 or 11. And I remember going on the home PC because everyone only had one then. You didn't have your mobile phones in your pocket. And I remember Googling it. Well, actually, it was Ask Jeeves, I think. And looking into it and thinking, this is the most beautiful place that I have ever seen. I still haven't made it there yet. It's one of those trips that will be a massive blowout because it's very expensive. But yeah, that's top of my list, bucket list wise. I can't wait to go there.
Oh, nice. You? Yeah, Bora Bora is I haven't been there, but I mean, it's on my bucket list too. New York, probably my favorite city in the world. Been there many times, and each time of the year is different. So I don't know what time of year did you go to New York?
When was it? October.
So the winter time, kind of.
Yeah, but we were very lucky actually. It was still very warm. It felt more like spring than winter.
Wow. So when you actually go in spring or summer, New York just has a different character each season. It's so unique. You could go 4 different times in the 4 different seasons, and you'll get a different perspective on that city. It's just amazing. But cool. So we got a few minutes left here. I love what you've been talking about with the company and stuff. But if someone wants to work with you or contact you or get a hold of you, what's the best way to do that?
Reach out. So I've got my website, which is amymorgan.co, not com.co, or LinkedIn. I am very active there. I'm always talking about guest experience, and I do love to yap. So if you're into chit chat, come along, start a conversation. I'll be happy to talk hospitality all day, every day.
Well, that's true. I mean, if you're not talking about what you do and love what you do, then you're not going to be very successful in this business. And so, again, Amy, I really want to appreciate you for taking the time to be on today's podcast and coming all the way from the across the pond, as we like to say here. But having you on the show has been great, and I don't think it'll be the last time because you've got a lot of incredible knowledge and things that you're doing and can always bring to our readers and listeners and actually some of our fellow hoteliers to be able to see that. So thank you for being on the show today.
No, thank you for having me. It's been lovely to connect with you.
Oh, perfect. To all of our listeners, guests out there, as you know the drill, follow us at thehotelguide.com. You can also catch Amy and her company. We'll have that in the link below so you can follow her as well. But we want one thing to happen here with the Hotel Guide. Travel, make memories. Until next time, everybody take care, and we'll talk soon. All right.